بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My dearest brothers and sisters on the Tawasul group, this is now lesson number 9. We've spoken about previously parents in the Quran who took a very active role in their children's life. We looked at Yaqub alayhi salam. We said that the fact that Yusuf went to his father to tell him about the dream already shows us that he was close to his father, and more importantly that Yaqub played an active role in his life, such that when something amazing happened to him in his personal life, he went to dad to tell him what happened, and he went to him and he told him about the amazing dream. Also Luqman, he played an active role in his son's life. In fact, he played such an active role and was such a great father that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala recorded his advice and placed it inside the Quran. Amazing. Now this, of course, is the way of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. And this narration which I want to share with you is reported in Sahih al-Bukhari, and wallahi, it illustrates just how much of an active role the person played in his children's lives. And that is something I'll touch on at the end of the narration. But follow the narration with me. It's reported once again by Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. She said, قالت أقبلت فاطمة تمشي كأن مشيتها مشي النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم مرحبا بابنتي. At once Fatima, and this is towards the end of the Prophet's life, when he became very sick, and this is his final sickness, she came to visit him, and she said, Aisha, when I saw her coming to visit him, I looked at her walk, and her way of walking was just like the way of the Prophet ﷺ. When she entered, the Prophet ﷺ said, Marhaban, glad tidings to my dear daughter. That is what he said when he saw her. Then ثم أجلسها عن يمينه أو عن شماله. Then Fatima sat down either on his right hand side or to the left hand side. ثم أصر إليها حديثا. And then the Prophet ﷺ, because he was very ill and unable to stand up as was his norm and to embrace her and to kiss her, he told her to come close to him. And as she leaned forward, أصر إليها, he told her a secret whispered inside her ear. فبكت فقلت لها لم تبكين ثم أصر إليها حديثا. And then once he whispered the first time, she began to cry. Tears began to roll down her cheeks, and Aisha says to herself that I wanted to ask her, what made you cry? But then, upon seeing her cry, the Prophet ﷺ once again told her to come close. وَأَسَرَّ إِلَيْهِ حَدِيثًا فَضَحِكَتْ. And then he told her another secret in her ear, and she began to laugh. She laughed through her tears. فقلت ما رأيت كاليوم فرحا أقرب من حزن. She said, Aisha, seeing this amazing scene, that today I've never seen happiness be so close to grief like I have done today. I just saw someone who was devastated momentarily, then begin to laugh. I never seen this before. She was amazed. And then once the Prophet left this worldly abode, she went to her and she asked her, what was it that the Prophet told you? And then Fatima said, the first time he whispered in my ear, he said, إن جبريل كان يعارضني القرآن كل سنة مرة وإنه عارضني العام مرتين ولا أراه إلا حضر أجلي وإنك أول أهل بيتي لحاقا به. She said that the first thing he said is Jibreel alayhi salam comes to me every year to revise the Quran with me, but this year he's come twice, and I see this as a sign of the coming of the end of my lifespan. And you will be the first of my family to join me. She said, after he told me that, I began to cry. And now upon seeing me cry, he then told me another secret. And then he said, in that, why do you cry? For you will be the leader of all women in paradise, or the leader of all believing women in paradise. And when I heard that, I began to laugh. Now what is amazing here is that the Prophet ﷺ, he sees his daughter crying, and he knows what to say to make her laugh. Now that indicates and demonstrates how close he was to his daughter, because if you think about it, when you're down and you're sad, the only people that can make you happy again are who? Those that know you and are close to you, your friends. They're the ones that you could rely on to cheer you up, right? And who is the friend to Fatima here? It is her father, the Prophet ﷺ. He knew how to cheer her up when she was down. And this demonstrates, my brothers and sisters, the active role the Prophet played in the life of his children. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to live in the footsteps of our Prophet ﷺ and to play an active role in the lives of our children, just like he did. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خيرا.